Hello everyone, Moo here with another gameplay video, but I really want to introduce Marvel Tsum Tsum to you today. So this is where we are, at the first screen of the Marvel Tsum Tsum game. Now, if you're already playing this game and you know all about the gameplay, the differences in the zooms between Disney Tsum Tsum and Marvel Tsum Tsum and all of that good stuff, you can probably skip the next 3 videos I will upload, given that I will go into the details of the fundamentals of this game for those that have not yet played or are new to the genre altogether. But thank you very much to you guys, and stay tuned for the gameplay videos that will follow on this introductory segment. But for those of you that have not played Marvel Tsum Tsum yet, I want to do this in 3 parts. Part 1 will basically show you the different stages or the arenas. So essentially the single player mode and the multiplayer mode, something Disney Tsum Tsum does not have at all. So the stage button at the bottom left of the corner is the single player mode. Essentially, that is what the Disney Tsum Tsum game is entirely about, the single player. So when you go to there, you are presented with various stages. And when you complete one stage or one world, you get to move on to the next. And as you can see at the bottom, there are 2% values there. One with a yellow star and one with a white star. When you complete missions in the stages, so let's go here, you can see that you are rewarded a number of yellow stars based on how well you were able to achieve the mission objectives. And the mission objectives are very much like the bingo missions in Disney Tsum Tsum. So for this one in particular, you have to win the battle against this boss, and the second tier of that mission is to get a chain of 15 zooms or longer in order to get the 3 stars. And where do you get the white stars? Well, as you progress through the stage, you will eventually reach a point that has a lock. When you get the requirement of yellow stars from the stage to unlock that lock, you get a few extra missions past that point, past that node. These are called the EX missions, and these ones will give you white stars as well as white ISOs, which I will talk about in the next video. They're very important, so stay tuned for that. So that is how you get the stars, that is how you complete the requirements here, and that is how you gain those rewards from the stage solo missions. So now I want to go into the actual gameplay. We'll try to get 3 stars in this one first, so you can see the difference. There are no boss battles in Disney Tsum Tsum, so that is one of the main differences between the games. So you will see exactly what that entails. But essentially you have a large zoom in the center of your playing area that moves around all over the place and attacks you and makes it difficult for you to create chains. Essentially they're retaliating against you and you're trying to fight them off, and that makes for very fun gameplay, and definitely a big difference between Disney Tsum Tsum, and one that is welcome in my opinion, because this makes it a little more exciting for us players. So as you can see, he's hovering around the screen, he's attacking us, and making it a pain not only to form chains, but we do have to get that 15 chain mission requirement as well, so hopefully we can do that now. Unfortunately, this boss is really, really weak, so he's probably gonna die now, and I have no idea whether I was able to make the 15 chain or not. But there you have it. That is the difference. And we will get into the difficulty rating of bosses a little bit in just a second here. as soon as this animation sequence finishes. So were we able to get 15? No, again, we only got 14. And I really wish they would include something within the battle window that gives you like a counter of how many you've already acquired, so you don't have to look at the number that appears after you've created the chain. But that is one of the only little gripes I have with Marvel Tsum Tsum. Now, the regular missions, they have a 2-tier bingo mission-like reward structure as well. So here we have to use our skill 14 times, but also get a score of 4.2 million in order to get to 3 stars. So let's do that real quick so you can see what the difference is. So this one is really like Disney Tsum Tsum, where it's just you and the Zooms. There's no boss attacking you. It's just straight gameplay, but you do have those 2-tier missions to accomplish. And as you can see, for the non-boss battles, they do show you how many times you have used the skill at the top there. I don't know why they don't include that for the bosses. Maybe it's a way for them to make it a little bit more challenging by denying you that information, but really that's just frustrating in my opinion. But there you have it. So our goal is to use our skill 14 times before the time runs out, as well as get 4.2 million score. So as you can see, Mephisto creates a ton of bombs or magic bubbles. And remember that for the video that's coming up next, because that plays an important part in the explanation for how the new Zooms work together, and basically their new abilities and how you can fully maximize the synergies between them. But don't worry, I will remind you. Just remember I said this, and hopefully it'll bring you back to this screen full of magic bubbles that we have right now. The other thing to keep in mind is you can see the playing area in this game is round instead of square as it is in Disney Tsum Tsum. So when you clear zooms, they do fall differently to the bottom because the playing area is round. So keep that in mind. It is a little bit more challenging, especially when you have a boss in the middle that's shifting the zooms around. They do kind of position themselves a little bit awkwardly compared to Disney Tsum Tsum. But you will get used to it for sure, and it's not going to be a problem. And just something to keep in mind for the time being. We're able to use his super special one more time before the time expires. Oh, and we got a time bubble, so that's really good. Time bubbles are also the driving force behind high scores in this game. Just like Disney Tsum Tsum, there's no difference between the bonus items you can buy there and the ones here for the most part. There are a few different ones that apply to the boss battles only, but essentially it's the same thing, same gold cost. So that is a straight carryover from Disney Tsum Tsum. So there you have it. We were able to get our skill used 14 times and also meet the 4.2 million score requirement. And now we're going to go and talk a little bit about the battle mode. So again, at the bottom left of your screen, you see that there's a battle button. When you press that battle button, you're presented with a screen full of bosses. Now these bosses have various difficulty ratings, unlike the one we just fought. The one we just fought essentially has hard as a preset difficulty, and I found that to be the case for all of the stage missions I've played so far. Now in battle mode, the battles you face against these bosses, as you can see, range from normal, hard, expert, chaos, and there's also impossible. So Corvus, he's got an impossible difficulty rating. And how that works is, for normal, you just look at them and you win. That's how easy they are. Hard, as you can see, is really not hard at all. It's actually very easy. Expert is when you start getting a percent chance to acquire their capsule or their box as a reward when you defeat them. And obviously chaos, there's a slightly higher percent chance, and impossible, an even higher percent chance there to gain their capsules. What makes this mode so awesome is that it's co-op. That means you can invite people from your friends list and team up against the bosses together. And one thing I need to mention to the beginners, when you have magic bubbles on screen, if the boss is not on your screen, that means your chains are healing you guys as a team, right? You're the healer, and your partner, who now is facing the boss, is the one doing the damage. So while you're healing, instead of tapping your magic bubbles, swipe them upwards, and you will send them to your partner's screen, so he can use them to detonate the zooms around the boss and do more damage to him. So you can help each other out that way. Because I have played with a whole bunch of new people that don't do that, and I never receive bombs for them, and then I realized they didn't even know that they could do that. So there you have it. That is the first tip for Marvel Tsum Tsum. Now, the other thing to consider is that there's an energy cost for each difficulty rating. So as you can see, bolts are the new hearts in Marvel, if you're coming from Disney Tsum Tsum. So when you're playing normal and hard, it costs 1 heart. When you're playing expert, it costs 2. When you're playing chaos and impossible, it costs 3. But keep in mind, the higher difficulty ratings give you exponentially higher rewards. So, for example, in normal and hard, you'll get like 250 gold, or whatever, but in chaos you'll get like 2,300 gold. So it's not an unfair use of your resources. In fact, it's better that you play in expert or higher, so you increase your probability of getting those really good rewards. And we'll talk about luck in the next video again, so you will know exactly what I mean. But let's see what we can do here. I don't have my free game. Oh, yes. So every day you are able to play one free co-op game. So what that means is your first game after reset, random people from the world can join your game. So let's say you go into chaos. You can see that you are the host because you initiated the game. Now, if you press recruit, people that have not used their free game, that is essentially people that generally don't have very many friends on their list, they're just playing for fun, they can enter your game 1 time per day. And then you can play with a random stranger, and if you guys kick ass, you can add them to your friends list after the game, which is awesome. And that brings me to the second point regarding battles. You do not have to basically invite people to your line account to add them as friends. You can keep all your information private and safe, and you just invite them through the game. They're completely separate, not like Disney Tsum Tsum where people can see your phone number or your information or any of that. Marvel has done away with that, and I think that is an absolutely fantastic idea because most people care about their privacy and they don't want the whole world to know their personal information. So in this game, that is one of the major improvements, in my opinion. So you can just add random people. In this game alone, they will not be tied to your line account in any way, shape, or form. So props to Marvel Tsum Tsum for doing that. And that is, again, the best way to get hearts or bolts, by having a bunch of people on your friends list. And, in this game, you can only send bolts once every 12 hours, I believe. So there's way less grinding and, things of that nature, which have not been carried over from Disney Tsum Tsum. And I guess I should do a quick battle against... Let's fight Green Goblin by myself, because I don't have my free game up. And also I don't want to invite someone just in case they don't want to be featured in this video. So this will give you an idea of what the bosses do and kind of their skills, how they attack you. They're actually much more difficult than in the stage battle, as I've mentioned. And let's see how things work out here. Now, he is the same attribute type as me. We're both B, which stands for blast, and that is what I will go into in the next video. But hopefully I'm strong enough to take him out anyways. If I die, that'll be extremely embarrassing, and you can hold it against me for the rest of all time. Okay, I need to pause. One thing to keep in mind is your fever time meter, or your rush meter as it's called now. When you are in co-op with your friends, the timer will never pause when you're using your skills because there's two of you. So that is the Marvel Tsum Tsum developer team's way of keeping the battle fair. Otherwise, you could infinitely block yourself inside rush time and kill the boss without any problem, if both you and your partner could keep freezing him in rush time. But when you're playing solo, it is very much like Disney Tsum Tsum, where the time will stop when you're using your ability. So we will talk a little bit more about that in the following video, with how you can use different Zoom types to stun him inside rush for a long time and do a lot more damage to him. But anyways, let's resume the battle here for now. Okay, quick pause here again. So as you saw with some bosses, not all, there's usually a halfway point or 3/4 point or 2/3 point where when you reach that point, they go into a second mode. They evolve in a way where they start doing more damage and using different skills on you. So keep that in mind. Usually when you see that purple screen, that means they're entering phase 2 of their abilities, and they will put the hurt on you a little bit harder. So let's get back into the game and take care of this guy. And there we have it. We were triumphant over Green Goblin. And now you'll see kind of how the rewards work. So again, I will go into luck a little bit more in the next video, but this is a little bit just to prep you so you kind of know what I'm talking about in the next video. So just bear with me a couple more seconds here. So as you can see, we won. That is how much damage we did. You can see HP recovered. So again, when you're playing with a partner, if the boss is not on your screen, you're the one healing your health bars. When he is on your screen, you are the one doing damage to him. Don't forget to swipe those bombs over to your friends. And as you can see, the luck attribute is listed here, and we were able to get 4 rewards. Now, the number of rewards you can get is based on luck. And again, we will go into luck a little bit more in the next video. And you see we got some boosters, some gems, and we will cover those as well. But for now, there you have it. That is the end of the first video. So please stay tuned for the second, where I will talk a little bit more about the zooms themselves, their abilities, their luck, and how you can work those to your advantage. So thank you very much for watching, and see you soon.